Hey Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a SMALLAND video today, taking a look at nighttime and how they're trying to be a bit more unique with bioluminescence. Yes, glowing mushrooms are going to be a thing in SMALLAND. Also covering some news that I guess could be seen as a negative, and it may end up with SMALLAND taking a bit longer to come out into early access. Their lead designer, Kev Harrison, is moving on to a new project, and for a small game that has only a good little amount of developers, this usually does mean kind of delays for a project. So I'm going to give some estimates about when I think SMALLAND might release later on this year, as well as their free demo. So do leave a like, make sure you subscribe for the best in survival and crafty games news, and let's jump into it. So last week we did get a glimpse of the nighttime when they showed off this tiny little Fireflies clip showcasing how it would look, and it looks nice, but this next one they've shown off is even better. This is obviously very dark, as you would expect, but not so dark that you can't actually go about at night time. But look at the mushrooms in play as we go through this fallen log. This is really great. It really gives it a bit of an ambiance and something a bit different. Very sparkly, very sparkly. Maybe a bit too sparkly, but I do love the glow. And yeah, like I said, it's something different that we've not really seen in other games. Maybe only Ark Survival Evolved has done something like this with some of their DLCs or maps where they've got glowing sort of mushrooms or fungus or maybe crystals. But other survival games, yeah, they tend to be just a case of not really exciting or pretty at night time. It's all just about actually doing your stuff during the day. Also, again, more footage of the landscape looking vibrant and filled with foliage and all sorts going on. And of course, a whole ton of bugs. It's looking like it's a real living, breathing world at the moment. Got loads of bees, loads of wasps flying around. So yeah, great stuff. And then they showed off something about what the mushrooms will look like during the day, and that's a pretty cool little feature. SMALLAND is doing pretty well on TikTok and other social media sites, so if you want to check out exactly what's happening, well, first of all, you need to go and check out their Steam page. Pretty much every week or so, they've got some sort of devlog taking a look at progress, whether it's questions being answered or clips of stuff that's going on, and they've hit 200,000 wish lists recently. On average, most wish lists, generally you get about 1 to 4 to 5% of people actually buy the game. So that's potentially up to 10,000 sales, absolutely guaranteed more than likely if the development keeps going the way it's going. And that would definitely give them enough of a boost to absolutely carry on developing the game in the right way. And I'm sure they'd even get more than that when it does eventually come out. But onto that sort of negative news. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't negative. I've been supporting SMALLAND a long time. I was one of the first tubers to talk about the original concept for the game to come out. I showed you guys in trailers and did news videos, and I told you guys all about it. I was the first to say that the game was back on track with new developers on board, and I was lucky enough to be joined by Kev Harrison, the lead designer on SMALLAND. He answered a ton of questions, had a good old chat, and it was really good. So I was quite surprised to see that they put an announcement out in the Discord saying that basically he was leaving. In fact, he's not just going on to another game within Merge, he's actually moving on to something completely different. Now, game devs leave and chop and change all the time, but normally not until they're actually close to being finished. But from what I understand, from what Kev told me, he was like one of the sole sort of major devs working on the game for a long time. He obviously had help from coders and engineers, and it's only recently in the last sort of 6 to 9 months that they've maybe employed a few more people to come and help on board. So certainly Merge is definitely a bit bigger than it was, but it's still not a massive team making this game. As far as I know, be corrected, I don't think they're more than like 10 people. When we did this interview, it was in the midst of lockdown and stuff, and Kev was working quite a lot on the game. His influence around it and stuff is obviously a big part of SMALLAND kind of rejuvenating and on its way to hopefully being something real. And I've spoke about this in the past on my main survival channel when I've covered SMALLAND, that the original developers really weren't actual proper developers in what you would term. They literally were just getting to grips with the Unreal Engine, and they were kind of going to just chuck a bunch of assets in. They had great ideas, some great things to add to the game, the core concept of the game for sure, but they never really got too far in it. They basically had nothing more than a tech demo, and it was very buggy, and nothing like SMALLAND looks right now. And I definitely absolutely feel that SMALLAND right now is 100% looking better than it used to. So the original developers haven't had anything to do with the game in like 2.5 years now nearly. Merge got their own team on board, and that is it. They've gone with their own vision for the game. But with so much of that work done by Kevin, I am just, a bit concerned. So yeah, it is a bit worrying that he has left. I did express this in Discord, and Danny, the community manager for Merge and SMALLAND, said they've got a new lead designer hopefully in the works. They're hiring right now, and they've got a very experienced producer on SMALLAND who's here to ensure development carries on according to the plans. And that's great, it really is good. But I still am just a little bit like, damn, this is gonna cause some sort of setback. Every lead designer will come in with his own ideas, his own opinions about what needs to be fleshed out or changed, as they should, because you want your lead designer to have their real footprint on the game. Of course, it's not usually just one person that makes a game, although there's lots of instances that is the case. But generally, obviously, Merge Games have got a bunch of developers on it, so it sounds like they really are confident that this won't affect anything. But yeah, normally when a lead designer or a lead dev or a creative designer leaves just before the game's about to maybe launch, it just usually results in some sort of delay. Now, officially, there's actually no timeline for when SMALLAND's coming out. Originally, they did say they wanted to bring it out last year, and there were some talks about hopefully November, but they rightly postponed that and gave themselves a bit of extra time to get some more polishing. I think it's really shown over the last few months what that has meant, from the clips and the gameplay that we'd seen ages ago to something really substantially looking at much better. And I guess the next question is, when is the demo, or when could it be coming out? Well, with that news, with that happening, yeah, the next kind of free demo on Steam, which a lot of companies are buying into now, they're doing it as part of Steam festivals. I don't think it's going to be next one until June, unless I'm wrong on that, but I think they do it around 3 times a year, February, June and October. And the latest one is going live pretty much next week. A whole bunch of games that I will be covering actually on this channel. But SMALLAND isn't part of that. They would have announced something by now. They would have mentioned it, that they've got the demo up and running for this. So given that news, and unless they're going to do something very different and have their own kind of unique demo period, I can't see them actually having a beta or a free demo to try until that June time. And then given that it might be a few months from feedback from how that went, possibly seeing now SMALLAND may be released at some point in the summertime, late summer. Now it's just going on experience covering over 150 games. At least 100 of them have been in early access, and over the years things have got better and streamlined, but more and more studios, more and more companies are buying into promoting their game during this, because it does mean you get lots of people interested in your game. And given that they are just going to be looking for a new designer, and it's going to take some time to get onto the board and kind of work out what they want and work with a team, then yeah, I can't see SMALLAND releasing any time in the next 3 months. And no rush, I'm not like saying that bitterly or angrily. Games will come out when they come out. I don't actually have a problem with games delaying, as long as they let us know what's happening and as long as they keep us informed about what's going on. I actually get grumpy with games when they have released and then updates to them never get communicated. They don't get told when an update's coming out or what the update might contain. No teases, no communication. That's the only time that I will start ragging on a developer, if they're not necessarily communicating to people that bought into their early access. But before that early access release date, then games can go ahead and delay as many times as they think it needs. No one's forcing you to buy it. You haven't lost anything because you've clicked on a wish list or you've pre-ordered. You should be able to cancel all that. So it's never really a big deal to me. So yeah, I don't want it to be negative, but as I said, any other game, I would approach it in the same place. I would say that that game may have some issues for a little while until they get that corrected and they get another lead developer on board. And so it's got to be the same for SMALLAND. Who knows, maybe that's why they ended up putting back the release last year, because they kind of felt that this might happen, and it would just mean that it gives them plenty of time to grow and get out there. I'm very excited about SMALLAND. I think it's got potential to do really well, and though it hasn't copied Grounded for the 20th millionth time, it actually got announced about 1.5 years before Grounded was ever a thing. In fact, about 2 years beforehand, really. So any other news, of course, I'll catch you guys up. And unless there's a big chunky news update on their Steam dev blogs, then we'll probably revisit SMALLAND pretty much every 2 weeks now. They've got the people interested in the game for sure. They've got great social media presence, and they've got a publisher that's got a big history in publishing lots of games. So SMALLAND's got all the ingredients to be a really, really good game. Let's just start hoping they can get it over the line, and we do start seeing that early access release news soon. Until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you later.